Hari Om. Welcome to Geeta in Practice. At the outset, I apologize for the inconvenience caused to some of you because the Monday session could not be held. There was an unexpected program that came up in Kavai Ashram which I had to finish, and by the time I finished it was almost 6:45. So we had to cancel that session, so I'm sorry for that. How many of you came for the chapter 17 talks there? Okay. So these sessions, Geeta in Practice, we are going to dedicate 3 days in a month, and we are going to see the important concepts of each chapter and see how we can practice it in our daily life. That's why it's called Geeta in Practice. Right now we have given you the dates for March and April. As we move along, subsequent months also, each month, 3 days, we will allot. And we will see how systematically we can study the whole Gita, the main concepts, not words by words. So that is the plan. So let us start with a prayer. Om Sahna Bhavatu Sahna Bhunaktu Savidyam Karvavahai Tejasvina Varditana Suma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Samastajana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram Vasudeva Sukam Devam Kamsa Chamarudamardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. So you all must be familiar with the context of the Gita, the entire Mahabharata war. Anybody who is not familiar with it? Okay. So the Pandavas and the Kauravas are assembled there on the battlefield, and Sanjay is narrating what is happening on the battlefield to Dhritarashtra. So first chapter of the Gita is called Arjun Vishal Yoga. Generally people don't pay much attention to the first chapter because they think that it is a description of a lot of warriors and the kind of conches they do and what they did and how they were assembled and all that. But it is very important that the first chapter we understand thoroughly, because what the first chapter presents to us is the basic human problem. And the whole Gita is an explanation or a solution which is suggested by Sri Krishna for that problem. So if we don't understand the problem properly, the solution will make no sense. Right? So in the first chapter of the Gita, how many of you from here are absolutely new to the Gita? Anyone? Okay. So we have this first chapter of the Gita. We go step by step. This is one definition of life that Swamiji used to give us. That life is a series of experiences. And in this context, we have written life is a series of challenging experiences. So if we have to define life, this is one of the definitions that one by one the experiences come to us in life. And in those experiences, as a human being, we all have choice of how to respond. That choice is not there with plants, birds, animals, but each one of us has a choice. So we always say that just like the incoming call is free, you can do whatever you want. You can listen to the call, you can take the call, you can divert it, you can let it be a missed call, you can cut it, you can do anything. Same way, experiences come to us free. Problems, challenges, situations, they all come to us one by one by one. And we always have a choice. The spiritual seeker is one who starts recognizing that I have a choice. All of you have come here. You have come here by a choice. You could have been somewhere else also. I could have been somewhere else. Each one of us are here because of our choice. Even sitting here, each one of us has a choice of how will we respond. Whether we will listen very attentively or we will listen partially or we will just, some people listen to test the knowledge of the speaker. And let us see how much the speaker knows. Some people listen to verify their understanding. Some people listen only to find particular solution to their problem. Rest of it they don't bother. So each one has a choice of how one will listen, how what one will do. And hence, in every moment, to recognize that is the freedom of a human being. Many times one feels victimized. Situation is very overpowering. I don't have a choice. I can't do much. It may appear so. And it may be so outside, no doubt in that. But even in that situation, I can make the best choice. I need not despair over it. I can see what I can do. So like Nike has their, what is this, tagline is just do it. If I can do something about it, just do it. If I can't do anything about it, just drop it. No point in simply brooding over it. So I can make a choice. Even in the most helpless situation, I can make a wise choice. So a war is such a situation where Arjun has prepared for 12 years for that war. Now he has come into that situation. Waiting for that situation, he prepared himself. And when he has come there, suddenly the situation is so overwhelming to him. Now he is not able to make his choice. And he gets completely overwhelmed. And we will see what happens to him actually. In fact, the situation remains the same. And the three characters in the Geeta, in the first chapter, we see how three of them respond so differently. So one is this, that we have a choice. As a human being, we all have choice. And a person who recognizes this choice is a person who will be able to make choices, progress in life. Because each choice that I make, each decision that I take, takes me a step ahead in my life. So there is no life which is predetermined and written by Bhagwan that this is how this person has to be. I build my life moment by moment, choice by choice. And so the attitude with which we face the challenge determines the quality of our life and our whole character. So in each moment, what is my attitude? The choice that I make is dependent on my whole attitude. Arjun's attitude was that I don't want to face. Then he wanted to run away. Somebody says, no, I have to face this war. Waiting there, to face, to start, to fight. So attitude determines our choices. And that's why the attitude is a very important aspect in life. First chapter of the Gita presents to us three different attitudes of three different people to the same challenge. And these three responses are the general responses that any human being gives to a challenge. How it is that we will see. There is this beautiful story of three people on the airport. They were are breaking the stone there. So as the flight landed, some people came out and one of them asked these three people. So she asked the first person, what are you doing? So he said, can't you see in this hot sun, I'm standing there, I'm just breaking these rocks. There's nothing better for me to do. My fate is doomed. He was very, very frustrated. They asked the second person, what are you doing? So the second person said, I'm breaking this rock. This is my job and I earn my living through it. And with that, my family will be happy, I will be happy. So she said, okay. And they asked the third person, what are you doing? And the third person said, I am building a base for you to fly high. The work remains the same, but the entire attitude behind it is so different. And the third person said, I am building a base for you to fly high. There is no frustration in the life of that person. There is no irritability. The person is inspired by that work that one is doing. So the attitude with which we face life is very important aspect that will help us to make the choice and that will also determine the quality of our life. Even in the most tough situation, it is the attitude of people that helps them to move ahead. Dr. Abdul Kalam could not become a pilot. He was very dejected. That is the time when he met Swami Shivananda in Rishikesh, because he gave his test in Dehradun, came down, sitting on the banks of the Ganges, very dejected that I couldn't get selected because the vision test I didn't clear. And slowly, as he looked around, he found his Divine Life Society and he had heard of Swami Shivananda. So he went and met him. And after the satsang, when he went to meet him, Swamiji asked him that, young man, what has happened to you? Why do you look so sad? So he explained that I did so many things and I cleared the written test and the interview and I failed in my vision test. I could not become a pilot. So Swami Shivananda said two things to him, which he says has transformed his life. One he said is, so what if you could not become a pilot? There can be better things in store for you. And second thing he said is, defeat the defeatist in you. And in each one of us there is a defeatist which keeps telling us, you are not good enough, you can't achieve this, you can't do that, you can't do this. There is one voice which keeps pulling us down, which makes us even compromise, which makes us go through guilt. So the idea here is that if the attitude is very clear, even from the most difficult circumstance one can come out. And this first chapter we will see that. So all our relationships, our success, our happiness, our entire life, one of the main influencers for all these is our own attitude. And so in this Geeta we will find that attitudes are more important than appearances. We focus a lot on the appearances. How we look, how we dress, how we walk, how we talk, no doubt important. But more important is the attitude. And hardly anyone works on the attitude to build the attitude. Our education is supposed to build our character and our attitude, positive attitude. But sometimes it does exactly the opposite. And that's why youngsters, some of them, they wear the t-shirt. I was born intelligent, but education ruined me. Why should they write that? Because so much of cramping up of information is there in the mind. So, what one has to do is to understand that attitudes are more important than appearances. And in fact, attitudes are more important than facts also. On this 26th January, in Kharkova there was a huge program where about 20-30 schools participated and they were doing march past and like a parade. So they had called one Major D.P. Singh, who was a Kargil warrior. And He fought in the war, very brave, very valiant, and he fought in the war. He got hit by bullets, almost dead. When he was brought to the hospital, some of the doctors declared him dead. One doctor finally measured his pulse or something he did, and he said, no, he's still alive. And slowly they revived him. He lost his leg. His leg was amputated. And when he came back to his senses, there was not a trace of remorse in his heart. Not only that, when he was asked that, you will never be able to fight again as a warrior, and the normal life also will be so difficult. You don't feel sad about it? He said, no. I went there to give up my life. I lost only a few kilos of my body. And he has now what you call as a artificial leg, but it is called as a blade. He is India's first blade runner. And he runs all the marathons. Everywhere in India, wherever a marathon is done, he runs. Even Mumbai Marathon, he ran. And his dream is to run in the Olympics. And the next dream that he has is to participate in a car rally. So the fact is that his leg is amputated. But even today, the way he lives with that enthusiasm, that feeling for the country and that energy is unbelievable. Why? Because of just the attitude. The fact is that he has a lot of physical difficulty, but the mind is very, very powerful. So attitudes are more important than facts. So Gurudev used to say this, that what we meet in life is destiny, but what we do with it or how we meet it is our own choice, our own free will. And that destiny also is not somebody else was written. It is my past karma. Yesterday's karma is today's destiny. Today's karma is tomorrow's destiny. So that way, attitude is a very important aspect, and one who has the right attitude can face life even in the most difficult circumstance, most difficult challenge. So the chapter 1, the main purpose is to demonstrate human response to any challenge. And you will see 3 characters. How 3 of them respond to the same situation. And through that we will understand that what is the root cause of our problem. Like why is it that we face what we face in our life? Why is that sometimes we collapse, we get stressed out, we get anxious, we get so agitated and disturbed. Sometimes we even do self-destructive things. Why do we do that? What is the main cause? That even when we know what is right, we can't follow. And what is wrong, we are not able to resist from that. So we will see what is the root cause of our problem, and then also establish the need for clarity and purity in life. Because what was done to Arjun, nothing outside was changed. The knowledge was given to him, and all that confusion which was there in his head settled down, and he had clarity in thinking. So a very important aspect is the attitude is the purity of heart, and clarity is the clarity in the thinking, in the head. Confusions, when they are there, our choices cannot be right. When Arjun was so deluded and confused, he forgot his duty. And that for which he has prepared for 12 years, he just could not follow that. In contrast, he wanted to run away. So what is the need for clarity in thinking? And Geeta is one of the best books to achieve clarity in thinking. Geeta will not give us solutions. It will make us think and arrive at our solutions. That is the beauty of the Geeta. That is the beauty of any scripture, that it should make you think, it should make you question. It is not a sermon that is given that you should do like this, 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 this. These are some principles which are given. And if you see in the Gita, there are lots of questions Arjuna asks. So this is one beauty of our culture is you can ask questions. In fact, all our Upanishads, all the spiritual knowledge is developed because the student has gone and asked questions to the teacher. Then the knowledge is given. So that way questioning is a very important aspect. And if we have questions, that means at least we are thinking. There are many people who have no questions. But they just don't think. Whatever is told, okay, fine. So what is important is to think, to question, and if there is confusion, be very happy. Because then there will be clarity. Otherwise, sometimes people have no questions, no confusions. So there are only two possibilities. Either they are very wise and enlightened, or they are absolutely dull and dumb that they can't even think. So if we have confusion, if we have questions, it is fine. Arjuna, you see, in his state, very confused. There was one man who asked the other man, how is it that you are confused all the time? So the other man says, I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, it works. I am getting confused all the time. We are not saying that way to remain confused all the time, but important point is to question, think for yourself. And Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda always used to say that longer the beard, the greater should be your suspicion. He would stroke his beard like that. And he said, don't accept anything just because I am saying it. Don't accept anything just because Geeta is saying it. You question, think, and get yourself convinced. Because that clarity will then apply in my life. If it remains somebody else's conviction and knowledge, it can't apply in my life. So if I have to do Gita in practice, if I have to practice the Gita, a lot of people say, Swamiji, theory, this is theory, you tell us what to do. But today I can tell you do this. Tomorrow, today you might be convinced because I am saying it and you will do. Tomorrow somebody else will say something, you will get confused. But Swamiji said like that, this was saying like, now what to do? But if you have your own conviction, you just leave it. So that way, before Gita in practice comes, there should be Gita in our conviction. The clarity has to come. So now, for a strong mind, even the toughest of challenges is merely a situation, and for a weak mind, even the simplest of situations is a mighty crisis. So given the same situation, different people respond to it in a different ways. For Yudhishthira, the same situation is not even a problem. For Arjuna, it is a big problem. For Dhritarashtra, is a mighty crisis. So same situation, but different people, very different thing. Why? Because each one's mind is very different. Generally, we will blame only outside circumstance. Why are you like this? Why are you so unhappy? Why are you so disturbed? You know, Swamiji, my mother just doesn't understand. My boss is very partial. He doesn't promote me. This government in India is horrible. Some excuse outside. And Gurudev used to say that in India we have one excuse which nobody else has. In the whole world nobody else has that excuse. What is that excuse? That Shani is not in the right position. That planet there, out there, that is not in the right position, so I am miserable, I am waiting 7 years now that Shani will come. After rotating somewhere, it will come in the right position, then my life will become okay. So generally one blames, outside circumstances, people, things. Important is to understand that no, major part of it is in here, it is my mind. How much people do? They break their entire house, change the direction of the kitchen and the bathroom and then the bedroom and then put one altar here and put one door there and put one water bowl here and maybe it is the science and energies and all that, but what is more powerful? Outside things or the mind? Living inside such comfortable, convenient, proper places, is everybody whose house is according to us to very happy? The mind. Adjustment of the mind has to happen. So that is an important aspect which the first chapter will tell us. So now the first character is Dhritarashtra. The Gita starts with this character of Dhritarashtra. Generally, we give importance to Arjuna and Krishna in the Gita. In the first chapter, these two characters come, Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana. Now Dhritarashtra, he is in a very powerful position. He is the king. And if he, as a king, did his duty, the war would not have happened only. He could have just said very clearly that this kingdom belongs to, this part of it belongs to Pandavas, this is belonging to Duryodhana, you just separate it. But no, he didn't do that. He was blinded by his own attachment to his son. Now this is one point which you will see in the whole Gita which comes, which is a very important aspect in our life, and that is the word attachment. That attachment makes us miserable, and we don't realize that. The confusion and the sorrow in our life is directly proportional to our attachment. There is no other reason. One of the main reasons for our sorrow is my own attachment and my own confusion. You will see the characters as we go one by one. So, because of his attachment to his son, he could not say no to his son. His attachment to his son and his role as a father, actually attachment did not allow him to even play the role of a father properly. That's the tragedy of attachment. So he did not play the role of a king also properly, and he did not play the role of a father also properly. That's what attachment did. So as a father, he allowed himself to be completely overwhelmed by attachment. As a king, he could not perform because this role was too overbearing on his mind. And so, he did not exercise his power. He did not do his duty as a king. And as a result, what happened? From a position of strength, he fell into the position of helplessness. Where he could have been a master of a circumstance, where he could have just said, this much is there, this much is yours, finish the matter. It was so clear. And he knew it also. But the attachment prevents him from implementing. If you think about it, why we are not able to practice what we know, one of the main reasons is attachment. Everybody knows. The person who is smoking also knows. The doctor who is telling other people don't smoke also knows. And the moment the patient goes out, starts. Can't give up. Why? Attachment. Everyone knows that getting up in the morning, going for a walk, going to do some exercise, jogging, very important in our life. But attachment to sleep, little more. So what we know we can't do. We can't do our duty because of attachment. And still, many people will hold on to attachment, saying, we are householders, Swamiji. How can we get retired? Okay, then suffer. What the Gita is telling is, while living in the household life, in the midst of the battlefield, if you can apply this knowledge, you can't apply it anywhere else. You can apply everywhere in life. And how to remain where we are and get away from the attachment so that we do our duty properly. More about attachment as we go along, we will see that how this attachment is a very, very crucial factor. And all the three of them actually go through attachment. Arjuna also, Duryodhana also, and Dhritarashtra also, all of them. Even Dronacharya, Bhishmacharya, all of them, victims of one's own attachment. So what happens is, as a result, from a position of strength, he becomes a weak person. Sant Gyaneshwar Maharaj, in his commentary on the Gita, it's called as Bhavartha Deepika, Gyaneshwar in Marathi. So, he gives an example when he writes on the first chapter. He gives an example. He says that there is this lotus flower which has lot of fragrance. and there is a bee, that this bee is so strong that it can bore into even very strong wood and drill into it and go through it. This bee comes into the lotus flower and starts sipping the nectar, and it is so fascinated by it that as the sun sets, the lotus flower is closing, but the bee will not come out, and that bee gets trapped inside and it dies. That bee, imagine, is so powerful it can bore through all the hardness of the wood, will not be able to bore through the soft petals of the lotus. Why? Attachments. So he says, mighty men, they fall because of attachment. And not only in this Mahabharata war, if you see all the great battles that have been fought, people who have been invincible have fallen because of some attachment. So, attachment is something which is very important for us to become aware of. What is my attachment? We fall from a position of mastery into a position of victim. One of the main reasons is attachment. So, Dhritarashtra is in that situation. He doesn't perform his duty and the mind enslaves him, becomes helpless. And what happens after that? One feels guilty. What happened? Why did I do this? I should not have done this. The mind feels very guilty. So the very first shlok of the Geeta, the first chapter, if you have the book, we will all chant the first verse. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha.
Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha.
Atha Prathamodhyayah.
Atha Prathamodhyayah.
Dhritarashtra Uvacha.
Dhritarashtra Uvacha.
Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre.
Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre.
Samaveta Yuyutsavaha.
Samaveta Yutsavaha.
Mamaka Pandavaschaiva.
Mamaka Pandavaschaiva.
Kimakurvata Sanjaya.
Kimakurvata Sanjaya.
So the Gita begins with Dhritarashtra's question. Dhritarashtra Uvacha. Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre. In this Kurukshetra, which is called as Dharma Kshetra, Samaveta Yuyutsavaha, with a desire to fight, these people have assembled. Who? Mamakaha Pandavas. My children and Pandu children. Having assembled there with a desire to fight the war, what did they do? Kima Kurvata Sanjaya. Oh Sanjay, what did they do? Meaning, did they fight the war, or did some peace treaty happen, or did the Pandavas just neatly surrender? What happened? So now imagine the very question that he is asking is a ridiculous question. Because he could have been in a position where the situation would not have arisen. He should have done his duty, but he does not do his duty. He becomes a complete victim of his attachment, then feels bad and guilty about it, and then he asks Sanjay, you tell me now what has happened. And there also, why is the question being asked? Because he wants to know what has happened to his children. As a king, he is supposed to be impartial. And especially because the Pandus, Pandu has died, and the Pandavas have no father. So he is supposed to be a guardian for them. He doesn't do all that. He is not even bothered. So he asks, that is the helplessness. So attachment brings a person to that level where when I have to do my duty, I cannot perform. So why should I not be attached in life? Number one, I will be completely distracted from my duty. Now, if I get distracted from my duty, what is wrong in that? If I get distracted from my duty, I fall from a position of strength to a position of helplessness and a victim. then I will keep begging everybody, why this, why that. Because I didn't do what I am supposed to do. A student does not study, that is his duty. Now, because of some attachment to sports or music or movies or something, the fellow keeps on postponing, doesn't study. Finally, when exam comes, gets tense, does something somehow, gets some low percentage, get into some college, then one regrets, oh God, why did I not do this properly? So when I don't do my duty, I come into a situation where I will regret unnecessarily. So one is that attachment makes me distracted from my own duty. Second is attachment creates a split in my personality. I know what is right, but I can't do it. So that very split in my life makes me very weak. Otherwise there is no need to be, there is nothing that can make me so miserable, right? If I live a life where I am doing my duty, such an integrated life I live, there will be so much of strength, confidence. There will be so much of straightforwardness. There is nothing to fear about. That is another thing that attachment brings. The moment there is attachment, I have fear of losing. I become possessive. That life is not worth living, where my mind is always in fear. Human being has to live a fearless life. What is the point in living with such fear? That's why attachment to wealth, attachment to name, fame, power, position, so many things create so much of fear in the mind, insecurity in the mind. What attachment does otherwise, apart from this, attachment can go to the extent of destroying the very object of our attachment. You think about it. If Dhritarashtra was detached from his son, he could have saved his son. His attachment to his son, was he not responsible for the death of his son? You see, that is what happens. When we get attached, we become so stuck that you can't even see the welfare of the object of attachment. Even if you see, there is a big issue there. Because in attachment, the beloved is not important. I am important. That's the problem with attachment. That is why when I get detached, I become more loving. Generally people think the other way. That how can we become detached? We love our children so much. We love the children, nobody said no. But be detached and love. Because the more I am attached, I am not really loving the child. I am loving what I am getting out of loving the child. And I am loving that sense of whatever we call it, joy, happiness and satisfaction that I am a good mother. That I am really loving. To the extent that attachment goes down, to that extent there will be real love flowing out towards the child, towards anybody who is the object of my attachment, my love. So attachment actually can even destroy an object of attachment. And hence one has to be very careful. More we will see as we go along. So Dhritarashtra is a symbol of attachment. He acted out of tamas. And when we act out of tamas, tamas means dullness, sloth, slumber, ignorance, all that is tamasic quality. So when we act out of tamas, then we don't take the decision that needs to be taken. That promptness is not there. Not only promptness is not there, many times our mind will not take the decision only. Indecision will be there. So you see, Dhritarashtra did not decide. And now, what happened? He ended up in tremendous stress, guilt, half-hearted effort. That is what happens with tamas. So when we act out of tamoguna, the challenge which comes to us, a person who is tamasic will try to run away, will not do what he has to do, will not face the circumstance, will not say, okay, this has come now, what I am supposed to do, what should be my response, what is my duty. And will say, no, I don't want to face it, run away from it, escape from it, postpone it, procrastinate, I don't take a decision right now, I am, I think, confused, let me take a break. Some things like that one will keep thinking. So when one acts out of tamas, these are all the qualities of tamasic mind. Laziness, indulgence, procrastination, inalertness. And what happens in tamasic state is, I don't do my duty and I indulge in something else only. So I am harming myself in two ways. Not doing what needs to be done and doing something else, I am distracting myself totally. So I don't go for my morning walk, then what I do? Indulge in sleep, so strengthen that weakness. And sometimes I may wake up also and then start checking the iPhone and start seeing the messages and start seeing the whatever WhatsApp and the emails and everything. And I say, no, time over. No time to go now. I have to rush to office. No. So I don't do what I am supposed to do, then I will do something else. The mind gets very distracted. Such a mind can't remain focused in life. Whatever that mind will try to do, the mind will do exactly opposite of it. So the willpower of that person becomes collapsed. To such an extent that the person stops taking any resolution only. Because the mind says, what is the use of you taking any resolution? No matter what resolution you take, it is going to be dissolution only. Forget it. So one falls into a state of such slumber and stupor. It's very, very dangerous. So Dhritarashtra is a symbol of that. This is beautiful. Dhritarashtra means Dhritam Rashtram Yena Sah. Etymologically, that is the way the Sanskrit word is split. Dhritam means to hold. Rashtram means the country or the land. Yena Sah. Meaning one who holds on to that land, which does not belong to him. Rightfully, the whole kingdom belonged only to the Pandavas. Pandu was the king, and his successors had to be taking over the kingdom. Dhritarashtra was born blind. He was not even supposed to be the king, and actually, he was going to be made the king. It was Vidur who stopped. He said, listen, the scriptures say very clearly that a blind person cannot be the king. And that point in time, Vidur stopped Bhishma. And he said, Pandu has to be the king. And then Pandu was made the king. And soon Pandu died. And there was nobody else to handle it. So Dhritarashtra was made the king. He was made the king as a temporary caretaker. Correct. So caretaker, till this small princes, they grow up to become responsible. And he knows that. But see that attachment, this is where attachment begins with. He has grown up with that inferiority complex that I am blind. And when he was denied the kingdom, much more inferiority. Now that inferiority complex in him, his attachment to his own image was so strong that even after he got the kingdom, his inferiority and his insecurity did not go away. So what happens to us in life is that when we don't work on our attachments and our insecurities, even if we get what we want, we still continue to remain insecure. So Dhritarashtra, technically he is holding on to something which does not belong to him. Now what is there to learn in this? We may say, no, thank God we are not Dhritarashtra. Akhandananda says that, are we not holding on to that which does not belong to us? What is that which we are holding on to, which prevents me from doing my duty? I have to ask myself, is there some attachment that I have like that in my life? Whether it's a duty at the physical level towards myself, emotional, intellectual, spiritual level, or a duty towards people, or the society around, or even the nation. How many people are aware of the duty to the nation? And everybody complains, कुछ नहीं हो सकता, ये देश का कुछ नहीं हो सकता, it is going from bad to worse, these politicians are dying, this is wrong, nothing will happen. But what is my duty am I doing? So what is that attachment which I am holding on to, which prevents me from doing my duty? This Akhandananda Maharaj, he was a great saint, and he writes in his commentary on the Geeta, he says that this whole world does not belong to us. It belongs to Bhagavan. And are we not holding on to that word and saying that this is my land and this is my child and this is my money and this is my car? You are bestowed with this for some time to use it. From when did that become mine? Functionally you can say this is mine. You can't start psychologically saying, everything belongs to Bhagavan only. Some people are like that, they get confused totally after coming to Vedanta class. So they will not do the distinction. Suppose you say that can I come to your house? You say, my house? I don't have a house, Swamiji. Which house? What house? This whole world belongs to Bhagavan. Right? Functionally you have a house, you have a wife. Don't say I have no wife, no child, nothing. But psychologically, we should know clearly that all this belongs to the Lord. And why am I holding on to that and saying this is mine? And how much wars are being fought for that? How many wars? How many people have died? Just because either land or gold or pleasure. Plus these three. Or for these three, and ultimately they will all die anyway, leaving all these three here. That is a sad part, tragic. So the idea here is that what is it that I am holding on to, which does not belong to me? Then if I take something which does not belong to me, what am I called? One is Dhritarashtra. Suppose you go to somebody's house and take away, you call a thief. Then are we not thieves that what belongs to Bhagavan? Happily I have possessed it and saying, "Ye to mera hai." And the more I have, the more happy I feel. That's the materialistic way of thinking. So the idea here is that let me think what is that which I am holding on to, which prevents me from doing my duty. Which are the areas in my life where I am acting in a tamasic way, where if I don't get something, I feel incomplete, I feel insecure. So in attachment we create those equations in mind. I plus, Dhritarashtra created an equation. No? I plus this kingdom is equal to happiness. I plus my son's prosperity is equal to happiness. He's created those equations. So we create equations. I plus iPhone is equal to style. I plus pizza is equal to pleasure. We create. I plus this person is equal to eternal love, which will last for 1 month. After that it is eternal misery. But when the mind creates the equation, then we are so thrilled by that. So what are the equations that I created that way? Because of which I am bound now. My equations would be binding. Externally nobody binds. Does Duryodhana actually bind Dhritarashtra? Nothing. Dhritarashtra should have just said, shut up, sit here, this is belonging to them, give it to them. Over, there ends the matter. Duryodhana can't do anything. But no. What binds Dhritarashtra is his own equation in his head. So, this is Dhritarashtra's response. So this is how a dull mind or ignorant mind would respond to any challenge. It will avoid duties, it will become helpless, it will not perform properly, then feel guilty and victimized, and then ask everybody, everybody victimizes me, life is so unfair, how do I handle my life? Right? You should have done your duty, you should have been strong. Why did you fall into a state of weakness? So Dhritarashtra is an example of that ignorant and a dull mind. He does not do what is supposed to be done and then keeps on brooding and keeps on feeling victimized. There are so many people who feel victimized in life. For small things, they will feel victimized. They don't operate from strength. That's why they feel victimized. So first character gives us this understanding that when a challenge comes, we have to rise up to face the challenge. If the more you run away, the more you avoid the duties, this is the situation you will fall in. Now comes the second character, and that is Duryodhana. So the second verse, actually we should take the meaning of the first verse. The meaning of the first verse we saw, right? Dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yuyutsava. Right. So if you see the first two words, Dharma kshetre kurukshetre. If you split those words, you will get kshetre kshetre dharmam kuru. And in every field, do your duty. Meaning in every role that I am playing, I have to do my duty. If I don't do the duty in all the roles that I am playing, then I land up in this situation of helplessness. And you find in life, if there are 10 roles that I am playing, if I am doing my duty in 7 roles, I will be peaceful and happy. But those 3 roles where I am compromising or I am not doing the duty, that will create all the pressure. So I have to ask myself that in every role, am I doing my duty or not? An important point in that is, don't worry whether other people are doing the duty or not. Because the concept of duty is not meant for other people. The concept of duty is meant for us. That when I do my duty, I remain focused. I remain in a proactive state. I don't remain tamasic. Others do their duty or not doesn't matter. In nature, nobody asks whether the other person is doing the duty or not. Plants, birds, animals, rivers, they don't ask. In fact, we are not only not doing our duty, we are harming them. Still they continue. How much of pollution is happening? But still nature is continuing to serve us. So, idea is that let me do my duty. Kshetre kshetre dharmam kuru. And one more nice point is the word dharma is the first word in the Geeta. And the last word in the Geeta is mama. In the 78th verse of 18th chapter, Bhagavan ends with that. It is Sanjaya's shlok again, where Sanjay says that Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanudara, Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhuti, Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. So if you put these two together, if somebody asks us, what does the Gita tell you? One of the simplest understanding is Mama Dharma. What is my dharma? Many people still think that you should not study the Gita. You should not study the spiritual literature. Why? Because they will tell you to go into the forest. They will take you away from the life. They will make you a sannyasi. The Gita is given by one householder to another householder in the battlefield. And this fellow wanted to run away, Arjun. And Bhagavan said, no, nothing to it, you be here, do your duty. And still people think that Gita will make you run away. So it will tell you what is your dharma. So one is what is your dharma, what is your duty. Second, what is your dharma, meaning what is your temperament, swadharma, what are you really made for. And finally it will tell you who you are and what is your swarupa dharma. That who you are in reality. Because when I don't know who I am really, then I make the roles so prominent that I get attached to them. So Arjuna is given the knowledge of the self. That is the main teaching of the Gita. To tell Arjuna that, okay Arjuna, get up, fight the war, this is your duty, Gita is not required. Any pep talk would do. Bhagavan was not doing a pep talk there. Bhagavan was actually going to the root cause of the problem and solving that. So we will see, in our next session we will see how do you go to the root cause of the problem. One issue we saw is attachment. Further we will go, as we go deeper into it, we will see how we will handle this. So Duryodhana's response and then Arjuna's response, that we will see on Friday.